Kid Goku turning into a Super Saiyan at the sight of his best friend Krillin's body. Although we would think that this insane leap in power would only benefit him throughout the rest of the series, would really cause more doom for the entire story itself. The ripples, the effect of a Super Saiyan Goku appearing in this time are felt honestly throughout the series. While it might seem beneficial for the Dragon Ball team, the outcome isn't particularly promising. Goku would likely defeat Piccolo right after the fight with Tambourine, and during that first encounter, without realizing it, inadvertently lock away the Dragon Balls, killing Kami. Without any Shenron, Krillin remains dead, and the world undergoes significant changes. Now remember, in the original Dragon Ball, anyone who got killed by a demon does not go to heaven or hell. Krillin's kind of left in like a purgatory-esque type of situation. Now this could be debated if King Piccolo was actually a demon or if he would have been considered a Namekian, but I'd be on the fence of arguing since he came from the evil part of God, he'd be a demon. Goku found and learned about Kami's existence after the fight with King Piccolo, after being taken to Korin's tower for a senzu bean. Now, there'd be no need to go to Korin's tower for a senzu bean. There actually would be no need for Yajirobe. He wouldn't have found him. So, never going to Korin's, he would never have found out about the Heavenly Realm, and would never have been invited to go and train inside there. The world was also left without a guardian. This Goku, in base form, would be much weaker compared to his mainline counterpart. No Zenkai boost from King Piccolo, and no training from God. He would have Super Saiyan, but would need to learn how to use them on his own, or with Master Roshi's help. Assuming Roshi could even assist with something like this. The rivalry he had with Ten Shinhan wouldn't be as intense as it was in later arcs. Ten Shinhan had a stronger resolve with Goku at the end of that Piccolo Daima arc. Goku really wouldn't have a reason to come back to the next tournament since there's no Piccolo Jr. While he might compete for the sake of his martial artist spirit, the absence of his best friend could lead him to adopt a more serious demeanor when necessary. Goku is familiar with death at this point in the series, and realizing that the Dragon Ball turned to stone after Piccolo was killed would put a newfound type of mentality on him. The lesson that Master Roshi told him of realizing there's always a stronger opponent would not only resonate harder than last time, but set a newfound ideology for the young monkey boy. It's uncertain if he'd make the same progress without Kami's guidance, but with the Super Saiyan multiplier and a new resolve, I place him slightly above where he would be in the main timeline of base form. The 50 times multiplier helps compensate for whatever he would need in between. So if we give him the power level that he would have at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, at this point in timeline, which would be at the end of the training arc when we do see him again in the World Tournament, we give him around 334. And with Super Saiyan, 16,700 would be his power level. Now this is also assuming he goes to the World Tournament. It's a big if. That's where the story could really change its place. But if we follow along with the manga, he goes, meets Chi-Chi, and still wins, because there's no one in the tournament that's going to come close to him. Ten Shinhan is nowhere near that type of power level. The Raditz fight plays out differently in this scenario. Goku defeats him much more quickly, and the absence of the ability to revive keeps Goku quick to disperse the threats when it comes to his son. Vegeta and Nappa figuring out what's going on there, their partner killed, and the legendary Super Saiyan just sitting on the planet, would more than likely still show up. If not to test themselves, try to at least bring him in to help defeat Frieza. Now this is where it could split as well. If Goku chooses to avenge his race, a race that he has no real ties to, he would head into space with two Saiyans. With no King Kai training and without the benefit of the extra training, he certainly dies to Frieza. That power level is nowhere near close to what Frieza would have been. And this is an out there scenario. There's no knowledge with Dragon Balls, and there's no incentive for Goku to head into space. So the idea of trying to bring back Krillin would just not be there for him. Now if he stays on Earth, defeats the Saiyans, he lives a peaceful life for a couple years, but eventually succumbs to the heart virus. And eventually, the world is destroyed by the androids, who are also now stronger than their mainline counterparts. Shiro would have had knowledge of the Super Saiyan and based his androids on that power level. Jiro stopped watching after the Goku and Vegeta fight. Now, wherever the power levels for these guys would have been at that point is where he based off of. So introducing a Super Saiyan into the mix would have caused a much wider gap. The Earth is decimated. The Afterlife's a much different experience for the Z-Warriors. They get to ascend to heaven and train for eternity, but with no Krillin. Frieza continues to rule the galaxy until Cell makes his appearance in the universe after absorbing 17 and 18 and obliterates them for fun. The universe is left broken until Cell finds a strange man on a really far planet that has a really big power level. But that story's for another day. Thank you guys for checking this out. This is not something I usually do, but it was something that was in the back of my head that I continuously thought about after my initial fan animation, quote unquote, that I posted back in the day of Super Saiyan Kid Goku and Piccolo. I had to change and tweak the story at that point because it doesn't really match with what would really happen, and I had to create Piccolo Jr. still within that universe. But it is something that I wanted to do for a while. We all have these stories in the back of our head and we never really put them on paper, but it is fun to do so. If you guys like it, let me know. There's a couple other stories that ultimately end in really bad situations that I think a lot of people kind of forget about. But until next time, thank you guys for just listening to me yap. I'll see you later.